Doctors, what's it like when you go in for an appointment? I'm a pediatrician, and last month I had the strangest case of my career. A dad brought in his 8-year-old son, claiming the kid had been acting weird and needed medication to focus better in school. The moment they walked in, I could tell something was off. The father was aggressive, demanding I prescribe ADHD meds immediately without any proper evaluation. He kept interrupting me, saying he didn't have time for tests and just wanted the prescription. But when I observed the boy, he seemed perfectly normal, just exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, yawning constantly but otherwise alert and responsive. Most kids with real ADHD are hyperactive or distracted, but this child was just tired. I decided to speak with him alone while his father waited outside. The moment the door closed, the kid's whole posture changed. He looked relieved to be away from his dad. "Do you like school?" I asked gently. He nodded enthusiastically. "Do you have trouble paying attention in class?" He shook his head, then leaned in and whispered, "Daddy makes me stay up late every night to clean the garage and organize his tools, sometimes until midnight. I'm just really sleepy during the day." My heart sank. This wasn't about ADHD at all. This was about a father using his 8-year-old as free labor and wanting drugs to keep him artificially alert during school hours. I asked more questions and learned the father had the boy doing adult chores every single night, sorting screws, cleaning equipment, even helping with car repairs. The kid should have been in bed by 8 p.m., not working in a garage until midnight. I went back to the waiting room where the father was impatiently checking his phone. "Dad, he immediately stood up demanding the prescription. That's when I decided to get creative. I told him I needed to run some neurological tests first because his son's symptoms were concerning. I brought them into my office and pulled up some random brain scans on my computer, pointing at normal areas as if they were abnormal. "I'm afraid your son has developed something called juvenile sleep displacement syndrome," I said in my most serious doctor voice. "It's a condition where children's brains don't develop properly when they're deprived of adequate sleep during critical growth periods." The father's aggressive demeanor immediately shifted to worry. I continued explaining this completely made-up condition, watching his face carefully. "Children who don't get proper rest before age 10 can develop permanent learning disabilities and significantly reduced IQ. I said gravely, "The brain literally shrinks when it doesn't get enough sleep during these formative years. We're talking about potential lifelong cognitive damage." His face went completely pale. I could tell he was one of those parents obsessed with his child being successful and high-achieving. I prescribed what I called intensive sleep therapy, which was really just a normal bedtime schedule. I told him his son needed exactly 10 hours of uninterrupted sleep every single night, in complete darkness, with no stimulation or activities after 7 p.m. Any disruption to the sleep schedule could cause irreversible brain damage, I warned. "No chores, no tasks, no responsibilities after dinner time. His brain needs complete rest to heal from the damage that's already been done." I gave him an official-looking treatment plan that was really just basic sleep hygiene for children. I scheduled follow-up appointments every 2 weeks to monitor his recovery, and told the father I'd be tracking his son's cognitive development closely. The father left my office completely transformed, clutching the sleep therapy instructions like they were precious documents. 2 months later, they came back for the follow-up appointment. The difference in the child was remarkable. He was well-rested, energetic, and genuinely happy. His teacher had called to say his performance in school had improved dramatically. The father proudly told me how strictly he'd been enforcing the bedtime routine, how he'd converted the garage into his own workspace so his son wouldn't be disturbed, and how he'd been reading parenting books about the importance of sleep. "Doctor, I had no idea how crucial sleep was for brain development," he said earnestly. "I've been telling all the other parents about juvenile sleep displacement syndrome. You probably saved my son's future." I just nodded professionally and told him to keep up the excellent work. Sometimes the best medicine isn't medicine at all.